Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield video today. We've got a ton of stuff to cover, including the size of the game's Pokemon Sword and Shield, and some really cool stuff like the title screens and a little discussion and breakdown at the end. So be sure to watch the entire thing. Hit that like button down below, guys. Be sure to show some love and subscribe to the channel. I've been posting Pokemon videos pretty much every single day. We're closing on 500,000 aDrive Army members, so let's make it happen. You guys have been incredible, and thank you so much for all the love and support on our Pokemon Sword and Shield videos. We are just 32 days away, I'm pretty sure, from the game, and a little bit of information came out today, so let's jump right into it, man. First things first, this was actually from yesterday, but I didn't really feel like it was worth its own video. But there was a game show that they displayed a handful of different things. They showed all the different Pokemon games. There's some really cool stuff, like kind of red and green and blue and yellow on the Game Boy. And I don't know about you guys, but actually, let me know in the comment section below, when did you start playing Pokemon? What was your first game? For me, it was Red and Blue. I remember playing Red and Blue. I remember I was probably 6 or 7, I guess, because it had first come out, and I couldn't even figure out how to get a Pokemon. My sister, who's 7 years older, had to help me. Once I got my starter Pokemon, which was Blastoise, well, Squirtle, I finally was able to take off, and I never looked back, man. I love the games. I always tell the story about how when Diamond and Pearl came out, they used to come out in Japan first, and I actually got the game in Japanese and played through Pearl in Japanese before I even played through it in English, because I was such a huge Pokemon fan growing up, as you can see from the blanket that I have there from the OG days. But it's really cool to look back on. You've got the Gold, Silver, Crystal. You've got Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald on the Game Boy. What was that? Not the SP, that's not called the SP. The Game Boy Advance, I guess, is what it was. Then the DS, which is Diamond, Pearl, Platinum again. The DSi, I don't remember the names of them. And then you get to the 3DS, X and Y, the first title of the 3DS, ORAS. And then here we go, the newest console, the Nintendo Switch, obviously, with Sword and Shield. And we have title screens. You got the nice little Score Bunny Grookey. I mean, Grookey looks a little funny. Sabo looks a little funny. Score Bunny, I think, looks the most normal there. But we got some nice shots of the title screens of Sword and Shield. So there's Sword and there is Shield. So I think there's going to be some sort of little animation that plays or something like that in the background. But really cool to just see the title screens as our first look at the title screens in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And they look pretty magnificent. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. But the real bombshell for today, guys, is there is the little download card has been officially revealed, and the game size is 10.3 gigabytes, which means that in this article quickly compares it to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee at 4.2 gigabytes. So more than double the game size in terms of just files than Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu was. Now, I'm not a game designer, so pardon my lack of knowledge in this area, but my guess is when it comes to file size or game size, you have to remember that assets are going to be reused, right? So like if they have a tree texture, of course, we're going to talk about a tree texture. If they have a tree texture, it's going to be pulled at various parts of the game, right? So like, you know, they're going to have Grookey's texture and it's going to be kind of thrown in at different parts of the game. So that's how it works. It like is going to try to access the files as I guess frequently as it needs to or whatever. So in the case of this though, I don't necessarily think the file size really tells us a ton unless we really compare it to kind of the last couple Pokemon games. I think it kind of gives us a little bit more insight into the sheer volume of content that we're going to be having. So let's kind of jump ahead here. 10.3 gigabytes of space to download onto the Nintendo Switch, and then Moo Crush was nice enough to do the research for us. X and Y, which I consider to be a pretty big game on the DS. Now again, graphics do play in part here, but is 1.7 gigabytes. ORAS is 1.8 gigabytes. Sun and Moon is 3.2 gigabytes. Ultra Sun and Moon is 3.6 gigabytes. This game has 3 times the file size of Ultra Sun and Moon. And then I think it's only fair to really compare it to the same console, which is Let's Go, which is 4.1 gigabytes. Again, almost 2.5 times the size of what Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was on the Nintendo Switch. But wait, there's more. Again, I only think it's fair to evaluate file size. I don't think it tells the full picture, but it can give us some insight into how big this game really is. And keep an eye on the channel, because I've got a really cool video coming up about that exact topic in a lot more depth. But we can look at Super Mario Odyssey here, a nice little Google search. It was 5.7 gigabytes, so double the file size almost of Mario Odyssey. And then when we look at Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it was 13.4 gigabytes. So we're not quite as big as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was. We're a little smaller than that. We're about double the file size of Mario Odyssey, but we're also gonna be looking a lot bigger than Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, right? We're 2.5 times what Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was. So we knew this game was gonna be big, right? I don't think there was any kind of doubt about that, but it's really cool to see in terms of just a number how big the file size is. I also wanted to mention too, a lot of people were kind of bringing this up, that when you look at the Galar region map, you're like, wow, this game really doesn't look that big. The map doesn't look that big, but the map isn't to scale. That's one thing to note. This is how the maps always are. They're never truly to scale, so keep that in mind. Like if you walk through we saw the video of the first town or whatever, I don't necessarily think that's an indication that the game's small. I think if you go back in previous trailers and look at just a few scenes of the the protagonist running through the big industrial city, you can really see just how massive and how big the game really is, but obviously not to scale. So couple things here. This is the card art, and there are some new things here. So first thing we see is Zacian appearing here in the top right hand corner, and it's a little hard to tease out exactly where he is, whether he's in the wild area or what this house is behind him, or if this is a rock structure. It's a little unclear because it is a little bit blurry, but I found it interesting that we get our first one of the first in-game shots of Zacian, and then some other cool stuff. Right down here, we see Turtonator right here. For the first time, Turtonator has been confirmed in Sword and Shield. I was really excited to see my turtle friend. I'm a big Turtonator fan. I know he's not like the most loved Pokemon or the best Pokemon, but I think he's really cool. And I promise you guys, you can't see it because it's so blurry, but right here where my mouse is, I'm gonna circle it a few times. Right here, that is what seems to be Gothita. Gothita is obviously the pre-evolution of Gothorita and then Gothitelle, and I do believe that that is Gothita back there. Again, if you zoom in really, really far, Cerebi.net agrees. It seems as though it's Gothita. I don't know if it's enough for us to 100% confirm, but it looks like Gothita. I'm pretty confirmed, or pretty sure it is. So it looks like Gothita is going to make the game, and what's actually interesting is there was a discussion going on Twitter yesterday from my friend Fufu, who's a YouTuber as well, and he posted like, how cool would it be, you guys maybe heard of the new item called Room Service, where in Trick Room, the speed is lowered of a Pokemon and it's a consumable. I wonder if abilities like Competitive are gonna activate upon that item's usage. So generally, if you drop your own stats and you have an ability like Competitive, you're not gonna increase your special attack. But in the case of an item being activated, it does work. So like you can run Adrenaline or Milotic, which if you get intimidated, your speed goes up and then your special attack goes up. I guess the Intimidate is what's activating the Competitive though. But it works that way. But we're curious whether Room Service, if Trick Room activates, your speed drops because of Room Service, the item, if that's gonna then increase your special attack with Competitive. Gothitelle would really, really benefit from that in Trick Room teams. It could actually be a really, really good strategy if that ends up happening. So some really cool stuff there discussing that. And then there was one other thing I wanted to talk about kind of to wrap up this video here, and that is the Pokemon type chart. Now I found this post on Reddit. I thought it was pretty interesting. It breaks down all of the species of Pokemon in each type that has been revealed in each generation. It does it a little bit weird because it breaks out Alolan separately, and then Megas, and then Legendary, Mythical. But the first 7 columns here show the different generations and how many Pokemon were revealed in each of those. Now we can obviously kind of realize that Gen 1 is going to be pretty heavily scaled because it was one of the biggest generations, and Gen 5 had a lot of Pokemon as well, so you can kind of factor that in. But the reason why I wanted to mention this is because I know a lot of you guys don't come to my Twitch streams. For those who don't know, I stream every day on twitch.tv/aDrive. I have confirmed to my Twitch audience that I am going to be doing a bug-only playthrough of Pokemon Sword and Shield on the channel. You might be like, aDrive, why are you doing a bug-only playthrough? Why would you even do that? Well, for those who don't know, bug types are my absolute favorite type, and I just have a history of doing bug-only playthroughs. Before I was a YouTuber, I did X and Y, I did Black and White, I did Black and White 2, I did Platinum, I did Heart Gold, Soul Silver, before I was even a content creator. But as a content creator, I did my first ever playthrough of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire with bug-only. My first ever playthrough of Sun and Moon was bug-only, which you could find on the channel. My first ever playthrough of Ultra Sun and Moon was ghost-only because I had already done bug-only the previous year, and the game was too similar. And then Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, my first playthrough was bug-only as well. So I have this history of using bug types when a new game comes out. It's my favorite typing, and I have confirmed that I am going to do a bug-only playthrough. Now, the big downside to that is there haven't been any new bug Pokemon confirmed yet. As we look through all these types, Poison was very weighted towards Gen 1. Some pretty cool distribution across these. But here's bug type, and there hasn't been a new bug type revealed in the Galar region yet. But I'm a believer. I don't know for sure, but I'm a believer that there are going to be new bug types in the game. Here's my logic. Generally with these new games, they try to cover typings that they never covered before. Bug has never been paired with Dragon, Psychic, Dark, Ice, and Normal. 5 types that Bug has never been paired with. That's just factoring in new types. Generally, they're going to use old types as well. When we look at the different kind of spray charts here for the generations in which Bug Pokemon come out, you can see Bug Pokemon are one of the more heavily populated generations, or typings that get kind of sprinkled throughout, especially in Gen 5, which was a massive dex. Gen 6 was the one that gave it the shaft, though. Only one new Bug evolutionary line. So, my sincerest hope is that we can at least get to the 10 range. Again, this is 10 Pokemon in general, not evolution lines. So when you look at it, it's really 1, 2, 3, kind of 4 evolution lines, really, when you think about it. But some of these other games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So 6, and then, you know, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and then of course Sun and Moon was great. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you include the Ultra Beast. But if we can at least get 3 or 4 new evolutionary lines for bug types, that would be incredible for me. I'd be really excited about that. And then my bug playthrough is going to be even more cool. But I've got a lot of things coming up this week for you guys. We're going to have our official Pokemon Marathon announcement. It's going down this weekend, I think Friday. Friday is going to be the official announcement. I'm also going to be hyping up the bug playthrough, and I'm just so excited, guys. We close in on just about a month away from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Let me know when you started playing Pokemon. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new, and get excited. We're getting close. We're getting ready. I'm ready to rock, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.